So welcome to the day 5 session. Day 6 session. We are going to talk about the concept of object-oriented programming, where we are going to talk about the concept of inheritance, packages, interfaces, and debugging. So we spoke about yesterday about the concept of objects and class, where we discussed that everything around us is an object. And when we say everything around us is an object, we mean that it has got a set of properties and a set of functions. And generally these properties and functions are defined inside a class. So within the class, we define the properties and functions which the objects take up, okay, or the objects derive these properties and functions. Objects which belong to the same class are similar. Objects which belong to the different class are different from each other. So what we are going to do is, this part of the theory we have discussed yesterday. Now we are going to see how we can create a class and then how we can create objects of that class in Java. So generally every file which we create in Java is a class in itself. So here what we are doing is we are creating a student class. So the student class has got these variables: name, age, and marks. So there are three properties which the student class has. It has got a name, it has age, and it has marks. Then we declare two methods, print details and birthday. In the details method, we say that we want to print the student name who has got these marks. So print the name of the student and the marks the student has received. And then we create a method in which we basically enter the age. And in return, an incremented age is returned. So if the age entered is 10, an incremented age 11 is returned. Then we have our void main method. Inside the void main method, we basically, by using the new operator, create an object of this class. So we say student class stud is equal to new student class. So what we have done, we have created an object of this class. And then when we say stud dot being the accessibility operator, you can see you are able to access these properties and these functions which are basically associated with the class, right? So student name, age, marks, student name, age, and marks. And then we call this method print details. And you can also call the method birthday. Okay. So here in the print statement, we are calling the method student birthday, which takes as input argument the student age. So what is that we have seen in here? To declare an object of the class, we say class name followed by object name is equal to new class name. Okay, class name, object name is equal to new class name. Then you say object name dot is the accessibility operator. You will be able to access the properties and you will be able to access the functions. Okay, these are the things you guys will be able to do. So here when we run this program, two different objects will get created, John and Julia, and their print functions which we have called will print this information. Have a look at this program and I will be sharing the code with you guys so that you can try it on your system, and if you have any question, let me know. And then we will take up a small task where we are going to create our own class and declare few objects, functions, and properties for it. So have a look at it, let me know. great. So do you guys have any questions about it? Or is it clear? Okay, great. So now let us see another way to create a class in which what we are going to create is something called as a constructor. So let us do that. We create class and we call the class as student class with constructor. In here again we define three attributes: name, age and marks. Okay. So what we have created is name, age and marks. And then we create a constructor. Okay. A constructor is basically a method which has got the same name as that of the class. So a constructor is a method which has got the same name as that of the class, and whenever a new object of the class will be created, it will basically instantiate this constructor. When the constructor is not created by default, or when the constructor is not explicitly created, then a default constructor is called. So in here we create a constructor which takes in the argument the name, age and marks, and it initializes the values of the original properties name, age and marks by the one which are passed. Then we have our method called as print details. Then in here we have our void main method. Inside the void main method, we create an object of the student class with constructor. We say new student class with constructor and we pass in our input arguments. So in here the difference is that while defining the object by using the new operator, we pass the data. Unlike in the another approach where we individually assign values. Are you able to understand the difference when we have created with a constructor created and when we have used a default constructor? And do you understand what a constructor is doing? Okay, great. So I'm sharing this program. Try it out at your end also. And if you have any questions, let me know. So let me know when you guys are done. Okay, so this is also done. That's great. Now let us have a look at the next concept, and that is the concept of inheritance. So the concept of inheritance basically also is inherently just give me a second, guys. I'll be back. 1 second. are going to talk about the concept of inheritance. So inherently it is also basically being derived from the concept of modularity, which effectively says that let's not repeat something. So the concept of inheritance says that there is a parent class and then there exists a child class. The features of parent class will be inherited by the child class. So basically a child class can inherit the features and functions of the parent class. Okay. So a child class can inherit the features and functions of the parent class. So let us say and devise how do we do it. So I'm going to showcase you guys an example. And the example is this, basically the name of the program is demo of inheritance. Here what we create is we create a person class which has got name and age property only. Name property, age property and a function called as a birthday function. So name and age and a function called as a birthday function. Then what we create is we create an employee class which say extends person class. So basically what we do is we use this keyword extends to extend the person class. Okay. In here the employee class, which is effectively a child class of person class, also have its own attributes and functions. So salary is an attribute, pay is a function. Okay. Then we have got a third class called as the management class, which extends employee class. So what is happening in here? The employee class is a parent of management class. So management class is a child of employee class and a grandchild of person class. So when we are going to create an object of management class, it will access the feature function of employee class as well as person class. But beside that, it can also have its own features and functions. Now when I create an object of the person class, you can see as I say P dot. Do you see age, name, birthday available for person class? These were the attributes and function associated in person class. Then if I say E dot, you see age, name, salary, birthday and pay. This is what? These are the attribute functions and properties of both person class and employee class. Similarly, when I say M dot, you can see attributes and functions associated with person class, employee class and management class. Okay, are you able to see this? Got it? Great. So now when you create an object of employee class, this is what you get. When you create an object of management class, this is what you get. Okay, so when you run this program, these are the outputs that you receive. So the idea is you understand that how this concept of inheritance is working. So I'm sharing the code. So you create a person class, then you create an employee class, and then you create a management class, and then you create a final class where you are going to basically create the objects of these classes. And you define their variables and you provide values to these variables effectively. Here. So let's do it. Let's try it out. guys are done, let me know. Okay, so do you guys have any questions about the concept of class object, the concept of constructor, or the concept of, what should I say, inheritance? Any queries in there? Anything which is not clear? Clear? Great. So we will talk about the next concept, and the concept which we are going to talk about is the concept of interfaces. So what is an interface? Interface is basically a entity which defines a contract which has to be abided by any class implementing it. So interface is an entity which defines a contract with any class which is trying to implement it has to abide by. That is what an interface is. Okay. So what do we do in here is we create the entity which basically has got empty methods. Okay. What it has got these empty methods. So the methods are only declared, not defined. So what they do not have is that do not have their body within it. There is no body inside it. There is no definition of this method. There is only declaration. And the part of its implementation of the method falls on the class which is trying to implement the interface or abide by the contract. So the relationship in here is type of. The relationship in inheritance is called is-a. The relationship in an interface is called type of. For example, let us say we create an interface called as the car interface. Now here is a car interface which has got all these methods, but as you can see, all these methods we have not defined the body, we have only declared them. So we have declared these methods, but the onus of defining the body for these will basically fall back upon the class which is trying to implement this car interface. So we have got these methods which we have created. Now let us say I create a class called as a family car. So I say family car implements car interface. Whenever I say the family car implements the car interface, do you see this red line coming? And it is saying add unimplemented methods. So what we have to do is we have to add the unimplemented methods in here. Okay. So when I say add unimplemented methods, it will add all these methods. So here inside these methods, I have defined what each of these methods are supposed to do. So family car is a type of car. Similarly, sports car is a type of car. But each of these method implementation inside their classes are different. Do you understand this? Each of their implementation inside these classes are different. Are you able to understand it? Okay. So, for example, let us say we have created an interface called as a chair. Let us say we take a question where we have introduced an interface called as chair, where the methods inside it we say seat, seat type, rotate, yes or no. Then when we say type of chair as in a garden chair or an office chair, and you have defined these methods inside the interface. And then what you do is you define two classes. So you define a class called as office chair and you define a class called as garden chair, which is implementing these two, which is implementing the chair class and providing body to these methods. So would you guys try this? I will share how we define an interface. So to create an interface, you say right click, new, and you say interface. Just beneath the class, you say interface. And the keyword which you use is called implements. I'll share part of these codes and I want you guys to try this example at your end and let me know if you face any trouble. I'll share the screen right now for the interface creation. Please attempt it. Okay, that is good. That looks good. So you guys are able to understand and use this concept. It's clear in your mind? Okay, that's great. Cool. So now, do you guys want a break or shall I continue? Continue? Okay. So the next concept which we are going to talk about is another interesting concept. It is the concept of overriding and overloading. So the concept of overloading says that both parent and child class can have the same methods, but in case of overloading, the child class method can have different set of arguments. Okay, so it can have different set of arguments or return signature even. So the name would be same. So this is known as the concept of overloading. Okay, and the concept of overriding says that both parent and child class will have same methods and same signature. So in the above case, only in the above case both the parent and child method instances exist. In this overriding case, only the child method instance will exist as it has overridden the parent one. So since it has overridden the parent one, only the child method instance will exist. That is the concept of overriding. And then you have got the concept of overloading. So I will give you guys an example and let us see in here. So in here we create a parent class where we have a method called as say hello. And then we have another method called as say bye. So we have two methods, say hello and say bye. Then we have created a child class which extends the parent class. In this we say void say hello and then we pass the name. We have a greeting created. So the say hello method is being overloaded. It takes an argument. So we create a greeting. We say hello plus name and we return that greeting. Then we have another method called as override which is say bye. In this method basically we return only a statement. There is no return, there is no input argument. So this method is overriding. This method is overloading. Here the signature of the method is changed with respect to the method input argument and return value. Here there is no return value or input argument. Now when you create a child class object, you will see that you see two say hello methods. So you see a say hello method with parent class and a say hello method with child class. But you see only one child class method say bye. Are you able to see this? Got it? Does it help? Do you understand this concept of overloading and overriding? So have a look at the program. The say hello method is overloaded. Both the instances of the method exist in the child class because the method signature has changed. But in the case of overriding, the method remains same, even the signature remains same. So only the child class method instance will remain. So in the case of your interfaces, you have seen this @override annotation, right? That's where it is coming from. So have a look at this, and if you have any questions, let me know. questions? Nothing. Do you guys have any question? Is this clear? Okay. Great. So lastly, what we are going to do is we are going to talk about the concept of packages. You guys let me know if you want a break or do you want me to continue? So shall we take a short 5-10 minutes break? Okay, so we'll take a short 5-10 minutes break and then we will resume. Okay, shall we resume? Fine. So we are going to lastly talk about the concept of packages. So packages is a folder structure which is created to allow storage of common classes or interfaces or other entities. So packages are basically folder structure which allows storage of common class, interfaces and entities. That is what packages are. Okay. So how do we create a package? You say right click, you say new and you create a package. Now within a package you create classes. Along with that there is something available called as the modifiers. Modifiers are effectively entities which allows us information about accessibility of a variable or a function. So we have something called as a private, protected, default and public. These are some of the modifiers which are available. Private, protected, default and public. Private is not accessible anywhere outside the class. So outside the class, a private variable is not accessible. Protected is accessible outside the class and by the child class. Default is accessible outside the class in the same package and by child class. And public is accessible everywhere. Okay, so something which is declared as public is accessible everywhere. So these are the 4 types of modifiers available which we primarily see when we work with the packages. So in here in the package we have declared 4 variables: private, protected, default and public. So private, protected, default and public. Okay. And we have created these methods: public method, protected method, private method and a default method. So public method, protected method, private method and a default method. Now when we create object of these classes, you can call private, default, protected and public all within the same class, and you can access these methods as well. Now let us create another class within the same package. Another class within the same package, you will see you cannot access the private variable. Do you see this? Or the private function. You are unable to access the private variable or the private function. Are you able to see that? Right? But if we are inside the child class of Hello World, here also you will not be able to access the private variable. Only default and protected and public are accessible. Let's go outside the package. Outside the package, in the Hello World class, which is the child of Hello World class, here if you try to create, you will not see the default. You will only see protected and public. Default is not accessible outside the class. Okay? Or outside the main package, the default is not accessible. Whereas public is basically accessible everywhere. Here only public will be accessible, neither protected nor default nor private. So default is not accessible. Okay. Does it make sense? Do you understand how these variables are accessible or are not accessible? Okay, great. So basically this is how we work. Now there is one assignment. It's actually a very big assignment, But the idea is not to worry with the assignment. Like the assignment will basically have lots of subparts. Okay. So the assignment has a lot of subparts available, and that's about it. But it is a very good assignment, and I would request you guys to attempt this assignment because it will really clear your concept on the um, so this assignment problem will basically clear your concepts on the concepts of object-oriented programming, especially question 2. It has got a lot of subparts which you have to solve. Okay. So there are a lot of subparts available which you will have to solve, and it will help you solve. If you solve this particular assignment, it will really help you. Besides this, there are two questions. There are three links given. So from next week onwards, we start with the concept of APM. But nevertheless, before we understand APM, some information about Selenium is required. So I'm just asking you guys to read about these three links and just try to understand from a Java point of view what is an interface, what is a class, and what are the methods associated with it. Just read about the information available in these three links. And the last question which I'm asking you guys to do is to understand about abstract class and abstract methods. Okay, just Google search it and you will be able to. So to solve the assignment of this particular session is mandatory. Will you guys do it? It's a mandatory assignment to be solved. So I'm requesting you, please do it. And I know I have not yet reverted back with the feedback of the assignment solutions you guys have shared. I will do that this week. Sorry, I was a little occupied on the personal front, but I will definitely revert back this week. Okay. So was the session good? Do you all understand now Java as a language? Are you having some confidence that yet you know and you will be able to write down programs and you will be able to code in Java? Yes? Okay, that is good. So we will meet next week. We'll start with APM and I'm asking you guys to finish the assignments, and these are all mandatory assignments to be done, so please do it, okay? Okay then guys, thank you so much. Take care, have a good week ahead. I look forward to your assignments and we will meet next week then. Thank you so much. Bye everyone.